You're the best. You're the best.
Thank you very much.
And guess what? When we started today, I didn't ask you how was your week, you know, because I've not seen you for over a week now. How was your week?
It's been hectic in a way, but, you know, it's expected.
We're back to our normal self.
Yes.
This is Calabsh and Talk,
yes.
And we've got the viewers out there at the moment. They'll join in later on as time goes on. And we just want to say a big shout out to some of our viewers that are actually logged in. Awanatu, and then we've got Ebi Kuroma logged in as well. Grace, hello, hi, hi, darling. We've got Nafagi Mansawe. And then we actually have Noah Jallo, Alaji Noah Jallo. Hi, Alaji. That's one of our faithful viewers out there. So we've got Baby Anna, hi. And then we've got Yema Pratt. Thanks for joining in, all of you. Please share the video and get other people to join in as well. Because we know today is a very busy Saturday in our community. We've got lots and lots of events going on today. And it's a very busy day. So to everyone hosting an event tonight, I wish you all the best. And we'll be there. We'll be chatting base one after the other. We'll come. So, Augusta.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Who is Augusta Kuroma?
Wow. Augusta Kuroma. Well, originally, my name is Augusta Cisse.
Augusta Cisse, that is it?
Yes. Augusta Cisse was born in Serabo Hospital.
Okay.
In Sierra Leone.
Okay.
And I grew up in Moyamba and went to primary school of St. Joseph Convent School.
Okay.
And later went to the Harvard School for Girls in Moyamba in a boarding school where I met lots of people and lots of friends that I'm still in contact, and I made lots of friends.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm ever so grateful for being in that institution. But later on, I came to the Albert Academy, where I did my sixth form. But originally, I was in business school. I did business and accounting in Harvard School, where I graduated, and also in Albert Academy.
Okay.
Later on, I had to travel, whilst I was in Albert Academy, I had to travel to come to the UK. My sister, Bridget T. Jones, sent, gave an honor for me to, come and visit her, and obviously stay with her, because obviously she was the only one here. Although I had my other sister, Rosalind Yebu Cisse, was here as well. But she actually did a sacrifice for me to be here. So I'm ever so grateful to her. And I love you, sis, if you're watching. So I came into this country, all naive, and the world is, it's just my oyster, just looking around. Wow, am I gonna, I'm here in the UK, where am I gonna start? Because it's quite different from being in Sierra Leone and here.
Okay.
So what I did was I said to myself, how am I gonna play this? Or what am I gonna do? Looking at all the scenario that entails here, and I said to myself, well, I think I'll go in the health system.
So you actually went in the health system?
Yes.
And then what did you do after then?
Well, what I did was I went to college, in Mid-Kent College.
Okay.
I had to start all over again. Meanwhile, I told you before that I was in business and business studies. I did business studies and accounting back home. So I was brave enough to go back into health and did my access to healthcare in Mid-Kent College and in Chatham. That was my first step that I did. After when I moved, because I was staying in London and I moved to Kent.
Okay.
Because whilst I was in London, I was working. I had my daughter, my first daughter, who is Iula Kuroma. Okay. She's nearly 18, bless her.
Wow, that's good.
I know, yes.
You're a mom.
I know, I am a mom of two. Okay. So, whilst I was there, and I met my husband, Abdul Kuroma, and we stayed together, and we had so much bond together. So, my journey with Milken College, yes, I did my access to healthcare. That was my first step. And also, I went to Canterbury Christchurch University.
So you went to Canterbury Christchurch University.
Yes.
What did you do at Canterbury?
Canterbury Christchurch University, I did health studies.
Okay.
Because I wanted to focus on health. I wanted to know more about the different types of health.
Okay.
I wanted to establish myself. Meanwhile, as I said before, I came from a business and accounting background.
Okay.
So I really want to establish myself in health and to view, because health is wealth.
Sure.
Yes, health is wealth. So I went to Canterbury Christchurch University in Canterbury and I did my health studies. So whilst I was there, I was also working for the NHS.
Okay.
And ever since I've been working for the NHS, I'm an NHS professional and also an administrator for the NHS.
Okay.
Yes. I'm also a public health advocate.
Okay.
And also an executive council for ASGON, which is Africa Asia Scholars Global Online Network.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Augusta, actually, after you finish your health studies at Canterbury Christchurch, right?
Yes.
What inspired you? Because I was in your graduation recently. So what inspired you to actually go back into university and actually did the degree that you did?
Well, Francess, I actually lost my dear husband of sickle cell anemia. And that was the main reason why I went back into university. Okay. Because focusing on sickle cell anemia, I want to be with the public. So I decided to do public health. With public health, you focus on the people, you focus on the public. So that was the main reason why I went back to university to study, and which was very challenging for me. Yes. And I was pleased that I took that journey and I made that decision to go back to university.
That's good. So after you went back to university, what did you actually study that
I did public health.
You did public health.
Because as I said earlier, public health is about the public. Wherein you get to know about the views of people's health, wherein you get to know about different policy, about how the health system is viewed and how it's managed. And what I did actually was to focus on sickle cell anemia as my own passion, because I want to support the community. This is an illness that my husband actually died of. And also, wherever he is today, and I will try and make him very proud of me, that I need to give back something that will inspire the world, something that will inspire my children and everything else, and my family as well.
Okay, before we go into that, Augusta, before we go into your husband's sickle cell, because that's where we're talking today, right? I want to know your childhood in Sierra Leone. I want to know about you when you were growing up in Sierra Leone as a child. Did you actually always have the aspiration to become this health professional? Or how was your growing up like? How was your
My growing up, I've always been a bubbly person, my friends will say to you. Very interactive, very friendly. And, you know, during my time at Harvard School, you know, I used to act plays with my friends. So that's how I get to be vocal. That's how I was, you know, that's how I get to speak to other people and to see that there is some talent in me in some ways, but I couldn't figure out what I really need to do at that point in time. But I know that there was something in me that we always say, oh, Augusta, you're doing something in the community. Augusta, you can do something in the community for your people.
Okay, that's good. So in Sierra Leone, you went to Harvard School, isn't it?
Yes, I did. My dear old school, Mama Harvard. I'm so proud of Mama Harvard.
Okay, because I know you a little bit, really, because we're very good friends, so which is quite good. Augusta, I know you've actually been through a lot lately, and sitting here, I'm a bit emotional thinking about what we're going to be discussing today. It's a touchy subject, and I actually want our viewers on Facebook Live, because today we're in the studio, and this is our home now. We are live on radio at Star Radio, and we're also on Facebook Live at Francess K. So I want our Facebook viewers to share the videos, and I also want them to get involved in this conversation today. And also for our listeners online, please call the studio line if you actually have something to say about the sickle cell we're going to be discussing today. So now, our discussion today is sickle cell anemia. Can you give us a little bit of insight of this disease, sickle cell, in your knowledge?
Wow, sickle cell disease is quite a big subject. Sickle cell disease is a disease that is inherited from both parents, having passed on the genes to everybody that's within that category in a way. It affects the red blood cells. Yes, because people with sickle cell disease, red blood cells only live for 100 days. Normal blood cells, you and I, is 120 days. So people with sickle cell disease are very prone to infection. You know, and that is always advisable for people with sickle cell disease to have penicillin and also drink lots of fluids. But it is an inherited condition that is passed from both parents.
That's good. Okay, Augusta. Now, this sickle cell disease, how dangerous can it be?
Well, sickle cell disease is really dangerous, Frances. It can lead to death at any time. It's unknown because it affects you any time of the day, anywhere. But mind you, they do live a productive lifestyle, just like you and me. You know, the only difference is that they've got a condition that is obviously prone to them, that they can, die at any time because it's unknown. It is unknown, the uncertainty of it. But really, to be honest with you, it's a very, very dangerous illness.
Yeah. That's why we're discussing it today, because I met a gentleman lately, because you remember when I did my I did a presentation. You were present. You were
I was there.
Talk. I gave a seminar. Learning is sharing, basically, and knowledge is sharing. So the more we share knowledge, the more we gain. I did that presentation in Milton Keynes, and I actually had different speakers there. And I've met a gentleman who is my friend now, and his sickle cell disease is really, really bad. It's tough. He is in hospital almost every single week, and when the crisis comes, it comes for real. And I also have a very, very strong experience with sickle cell disease. My auntie in Sierra Leone, she's called Auntie Oliver, I used to live with her.
Right.
She actually lost 2 of her kids to sickle cell. One died, she actually gave birth to one, that was like my cousin, and we used to live in the same house. And late Alice was really, really ill, and she died of sickle cell. And then when Amira actually came again, it's like identical of the late Alice. Amira actually died as well from sickle cell. So sickle cell is very, very strong to me. I felt very strongly about it myself, because I have seen it firsthand, and I've seen the death of it, especially in our community in Sierra Leone, because I'm from Sierra Leone myself, as I said earlier on the first broadcast. Sickle cell is dangerous. So now, we all know sickle cell is dangerous. We know that it's a sickness which is in our community. Yes. It's all over the world, especially in the African community. But we need to think about ways now to prevent the sickle cell happening from the grassroots. So can you tell us about your foundation a bit? But before we go to that end, I want you to tell us how loving your husband was, and who was your husband.
Wow.
I know it's emotional for you, but I'm putting you on the spot now, sorry.
I know you can always do this, Francis, to me, but I'll say a little bit about my husband. Abdul Kroma died at the age of 39 years old. He was actually born on January the 20th, which is the same day as my older daughter. I have two children. The same day as my older daughter's birthday as well. Daniela is born on the same birthday as my daughter.
Wow.
Yes. And I'm ever so thankful to the Lord for making that happen, because that's a great memory for me to keep to the rest of my own life. Yeah. So Abdul Kroma was born in Freetown and got mom and dad and 2 sisters and a brother. Abdul attended school here after Sierra Leone, and he used to go to boat school, and he came to England. He was actually living in Guildford. He attended school in Guildford, and later graduated with a BA Money Banking and Finance.
Okay.
Yes, Abdul was a very smart fellow, I'll say. Very, very smart. Very, very intelligent. And know how to speak to whoever that comes his way. He's very shy, but he's very humble in a way. And, you know, I actually met him, you know, the first year I came to this country. Can you imagine that? So, despite his illness, you know, we had a bond together, and just so much affection with that. You know, in a way, I will take the illness out of it, but you can just view any individual as a human being, and he was a human being, to be honest with you, and a very gentle human being. He has a heart of gold, and also we both share so much in common. We just clicked so much. We do everything together. We go on holidays, we cook together, we read with the kids, we do everything with the kids and everything, because I had my first daughter and my second daughter as well. So we just, he was like a brother to me, I'd say. He was just like a brother. Abdul Kroma was also working for the Metropolitan Police here in the UK.
Okay.
Yes, and he played a very impact there, and had so much work. He was really faithful to his work, and he used to travel from Kent, from Rochester, all the way here in London to come to work. But whilst he was at work, they make sure that he's comfortable at work. You know, during the months of winter, his office was kept warm, and obviously he drinks a lot of fluids and everything else. And normally he used to go to St. Thomas's Hospital, where we met Neil Westerdale, which was the sickle cell nurse, and I'm still in contact with Neil. Hello Neil, thank you so much. So, and he knew a lot about his illness, and you know, when I met him, although I've heard about sickle cell disease, but through him I get to know more about sickle cell disease, and I saw, you know, what he went through, the pain that he went through day in, day and night, you know, and whenever he's admitted at the hospital. So most of the time, you know, not all the time he was at the hospital, but sometimes he can go for like months, 6 months, even a year without a crisis. He was fine. You know, but unfortunately for him, you know, Abdul went to Sierra Leone for his sister's wedding. I wasn't there. I remember it was around sometime in Easter 2011. I went with my 2 children to visit my cousins in Holland. Justina, I went to see her with my children, and whilst he left for Freetown for this wedding, because I wasn't there for the wedding, so they went together. So Abdul apparently was not feeling a bit well around that time. But when he came back, obviously I picked him up at the airport, and he was quite fine. He seems fine. But just after that, you know, he felt ill. He started having temperature. You know, just like, because I thought it was just like a normal thing to have, really, to be honest with you. You know, we went to a barbecue, and he had a bit of a temperature, and I said, oh, we need to go to the hospital. So, no, I'll be fine, we'll go to the doctors. Because mainly when he's ill, he doesn't like to leave us in the home. He doesn't like to go to the hospital, to be honest, because he says, oh, how you guys, he's always worried about us, to be honest with you. Even at his sick bed, he says, please take care of my wife and children. So,
Sorry.
it can be emotional, and
Sorry.
this is actually the first time
It's
I've
okay,
ever
nothing.
spoken live about him.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'll just get myself together. But he was a fine gentleman and had a heart of gold. Abdul Kurma died in Midway Hospital on the 2nd of June 2011. He had multiple organ failure due to sickle cell disease. Things got complicated in Midway Hospital. And with sickle cell disease, when things got complicated, it's very dangerous. He had to take blood transfusion. They had to fight for his life. And they couldn't save him. And I lost him on that day. I didn't know what to do at that time. I went home. All I did was just to be by his bedside, stroking his head, saying goodbye to him and praying to God, because I have so much faith in God. And also, I'm thinking about the future. So, Abdul's journey was bittersweet, I would say, but a remarkable one in my life.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Augusta, for that sharing. Thank you for that sharing. I think we need to. No, I think we'll continue. Yes. Because we lost the Facebook viewers if we actually take a break in there. Owen Castle, what do you actually make of the sickle cell disease?
Well, first of all, thank you, Augusta Kuma, for giving us an insight
to it.
What you actually went through with
personal experience.
Yeah, your experience with your husband, your late husband. I had the privilege to meet Abdul years ago, and like Augusta said, he was a very humorous gentleman, very articulate, very gentle. He smiles and talks to you very, very nicely. And when I heard of his death, I was in Sierra Leone. I was really, really shocked. So on my arrival, they had a funeral service that they were doing for him, and I had the privilege to come there to support Augusta and the family. Augusta, I know this is really, really difficult for you to live with someone with sickle cell disease, and this was your husband, and he passed away. And I know it's something that you will never forget, and your children as well will always have this to talk about in their lives. The sickle cell, was it because Abdul went to Sierra Leone? Was it the change of environment that actually triggered this sickle cell, this thing that actually caused this same sickle cell to be a crisis
I think
stage?
we'll leave Augusta to come to back before we can actually talk to Augusta.
Right.
The only thing I'm saying now, let's actually discuss, because the sickle cell disease is real in our community.
Yeah.
It's a really, really real one. We actually have this disease that is actually killing a lot of our brothers, our sisters, our mother, our fathers, but we're not doing anything about it, because it can be prevented. That sickle cell disease can be prevented.
What are the ways? What can you...
The best way, that's what we're going to be discussing today, basically, because Augusta's come up with another way to prevent it as well, which we're going to be campaigning with.
Okay.
But it can be prevented. What I'm saying, if we, as Africans, as the diaspora, not only because I'm from Africa, so as I said, I talk more about Africans. We've got other listeners as well, but I will mention Africans a lot, especially in Sierra Leone, because I'm from Sierra Leone myself. If we can actually just take a step back for a minute and do testing, because they have all these tests. We go for malaria testing, we go for HIV testing, we go for all sorts of testing. But when we want to get married to a partner, or when we want to have kids for our partners, the first thing we don't think about the health implication that follows those relationships.
Right.
The first thing we do is how deep we are in love. But we don't think about the health implication. We don't think that we need to do tests to ask the person, are you a trait? Have you got a sickle cell trait? Because if you have a sickle cell trait and I've got a sickle cell trait, we have kids together, that child is going to have a full-blown sickle cell.
Right.
That is one thing we don't think about in our community.
Okay, so if one of the parents has a sickle cell trait and the other doesn't, what are the chances of the kid getting sickle cell?
Well, the chances are
It's 50%.
50% chance.
50% of chance of having sickle cell disease.
Okay.
In that. But if you actually, one person, because when because the thing I'm saying in our community now, why I'm actually doing this show is to enlighten our community, for us to talk about it as a community. When you're actually going into a relationship with someone, it's always good, it's the best interest for both parties or all parties to actually ask the next person, have you got sickle cell traits? Like in England, my son, my son Benaya, he's got sickle cell traits, and they gave him a card. So when he's growing up, he can show that card to his partner to say, oh, I've got sickle cell traits. And then his partner as well can say, oh, I've got sickle cell traits, or I haven't. So that way, when they want to have a child, at least they've got it at the back of our mind. So in Sierra Leone, if we start doing those genotype testing, in Africa in general, because I know a lot of people with Sickle Cell Foundation are doing it. I know Auntie Sia actually went to Sierra Leone recently and did it. So if we actually start doing those tests and start encouraging the community, the society to do those tests before you get married, that would be a good one. So please.
Right. So I suspect some of the people in Africa, some of the young kids in Africa, their parents might not know if the kids have sickle cell. Do they have a system in Sierra Leone or in Africa where, you know, when a child is born, to find out whether they have sickle cell traits?
Augusta,
I believe that's not so the case, really, in a way, because here in the UK, you know, what they do is a heel prick test that they test within the baby to know if the person has sickle cells, you know, sickle cell disease or the traits. You know, they do that in doctor surgery. Yes, in the UK, you can go to your doctor surgery when, you know, as long as they know there is a connection with sickle cell disease and the family. They always do a heel. It's called a heel prick test that they do. You know, so. In Sierra Leone, I don't believe you know, that is happening at the moment.
Okay.
It's not at all.
So I think this is something we need to actually made aware of in the communities, for us to like have in the health system, where, because it has to start somewhere. You know, it's for us to prevent it from happening, because this is a wonderful guy. I know this guy, understand, that we lost through this sort of thing. The parents, I don't know whether they knew about this before they got married and had.
That is the thing. That is the thing.
I believe they knew about it in a way, but they were not knowledgeable. I think they were not, you know, they didn't know the consequence to that.
Yes.
It's, you know, it's all about education and awareness. And people are, you know, with sickle cell disease, you know, even me, I heard about sickle cell disease whilst I was in Sierra Leone. Yes. I had no idea about sickle cell disease unless you come out with somebody who has a sickle cell disease, or a friend, or somebody that you know that has sickle cell disease, because you know, people have no idea what is sickle cell disease, and they don't even know what impacts.
You're very right. When I was in school, I had a friend who had sickle cell, and I was meant to understand that when you have sickle cell, if you go past the age of 21. You will not die of sickle cell.
Yeah, that's what
I was learned as well. Yes,
it's not so. It's all about managing the illness. It's not. It's all. Although it gets complicated, but it's all about managing the illness. Because if you manage the illness quite well, you have to be on top of it. You really have to be on top of it.
So basically what happens is that the red blood cells die in the system, then it causes the blood to become thickened.
Yes, right? It causes the red blood cells got thickened because there is less oxygen in the red blood cells, and with the red blood cells gets clogged in the system, and that's how they have the crisis called the pain.
Wow. Okay, and it affects the joints.
It affects the joints, the abdomen, the thorax. You know, with sickle cell, you can have sickle cell on your hands, your chest, your knee, your abdomen. Yes, your organs and everything else. Wow. So, because the thing with sickle cell disease, it affects the red blood cell. You know, you and I have red blood cells, and when you affect the red blood cells, you affect the whole system.
Yeah. So basically, the immediate remedy of that is to take in lots of fluids while
Well, there are a few precautions that you got to take. Mostly they advise children to take folic acid and penicillin from 3 months old. So, and you can carry it out because Abdul was taking folic acid and penicillin all the time.
So basically, from 3 months old,
Yes.
you will start taking it all your life.
All your life.
Wow.
All your life, to be honest with you, all your life.
That is serious.
It is. All your life you got to take folic acid and penicillin because people with sickle cell disease are very prone to infection.